Joining us now, as he will, all season long. Now, normally it'd be on Mondays, but since the game was last night, Donovan McNabb back for another season with the WIP Afternoon Show. We are honored. Donovan, thank you for calling.
Man, that was the most exciting introduction I had heard. That was awful. Come on, pick it up. Pick it up. Come on. I know it's Friday. I need some excitement from you.
All right, here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, the best quarterback in the history of the Philadelphia Eagles.
There you go.
Okay,
you know him as number 5. Donovan McNabb back with us again. Donovan, thanks for calling.
I like that.
Oh, you know what? Thank you for having me. I'm so excited.
There we go. There we go.
That's what I'm talking about.
There we go. So, Donovan, we've been talking about the Jaylen Carter incident for a lot of the show. I wonder what your reaction was when you saw what he did, when he did it, and then getting thrown out of the game.
It was just immature. It was immature. It let your team down. There's no place for it in sports in general. Even if you were provoked, whatever it may have been, you got to be smarter than that to understand that, you're going to sit there and spit on the quarterback. I don't know what he was thinking. I'm sure he's apologetic and he's looking forward to possibly moving on. But I'm sure the league is going to come down and give him a hefty fine, if not a suspension, too.
Yeah, I mean, it's from a gameplay perspective, that's their entire defense is based around the havoc that Jaylen Carter creates, from pass rush on the edge to the secondary, and with him not being there, I just, injuries happen, but for a guy to, almost voluntarily take himself out of the game like that, pretty big deal. Pretty big deal. How did you think? Let's talk to you about the other Jalen. Jalen Hurts' game last night. What did you think?
I thought the offense looked a little stagnant at times. I mean, I know that statistically it looked as if he was in control. He was efficient. There were shots downfield that I think we missed. Offensively, we just weren't able to take. I mean, the offensive line did a fairly decent job up front, giving them some time until pretty much after the delay when they decided to start blitzing and bringing more guys from the strong and the weak side, which obviously forced Jalen to move in the pocket, get his eyes off of the receivers downfield and try to avoid the rush. But overall, I think for the way Jalen controlled the offense and a little bit of, the balance that we tried to do, I think it's a way of starting out the first game of the season, and we'll be interested to see how things continue to progress from this point on.
Yeah, that's the thing I'm looking at with them last night, Five. I'm wondering how much of that was early season rust. Are we not seeing the entire field? Because I thought that was a little bit of an issue last year. And I'm speaking more about Jalen and from the passing standpoint. Were you able to sort of, when you watch him drop back from the TV copy, are you able to see whether or not guys are getting open early, or is he improvising and making plays because there's nothing there available to him?
Well, let's just say this, Ike. I mean, and we played the game, and being from an offensive standpoint, and as I'm watching, number one, I'm not gonna sit and come down and say he's missing receivers, and because I just don't know what the progression is.
Right.
And I remember talking to Jalen a few times, last year when, I would talk to him almost every other week or so. He would ask, what did I see? What do I think? And, that was kind of the first question of, what's your progression? And when I would go to different plays of just, are you reading front side? Is your X your number one receiver? Is it to your wide, to your back? And coming backside to the backside dig, obviously, is usually number 3 or number 4 in the progression. And so as I watched, from the TV copy, I seen some guys being able to come free a couple of times, but also seen it during when they decided to blitz, and they brought a little bit of the heat. And as quarterbacks, we are going to miss some receivers if it's not seeing them come free or not feeling like he's open when, you can place the ball in different positions for that. But I will say that it just wasn't the downfield attacking type of defense versus a team that played I would say a decent percentage of man. So that you would think we would attack that with the guys we have.
He did get the ball to the tight end, which I know that is a sweet spot for you. So at least Dallas Goedert got 9 catches in there too. Donovan, I wanted to ask you about Landon Dickerson, who just had knee surgery a few weeks ago, had a back issue.
Right.
You were a guy who played through pain quite a bit. A few notable examples. As a player, how do you know when you want to play through pain, you want to be there for your guys, but also if you're limited in a way that makes you not yourself, how do you figure out when the right time to actually try to push through it, or say, you know what, quite good enough? How do you make that decision?
You know what? I could probably add to this with me. That usually that decision is from outside. As a player, we're going to continue to fight through the pain, and we're going to continue to be there for our guys. But it's usually a decision from Nick or from their head trainer, to make that decision for you. And it's tough for us to swallow. It's a pill that we don't want to kind of ingest, I guess, so to speak, because we're so used to being out there. One place that we don't want to be is on the sideline when we feel like we can't contribute. And so, from what I understand, the reports that he didn't practice a lot during the week, and they pretty much got him ready for game time. If I recall, that was the information that I heard during the game. So, if this continues on and we see it kind of being hobbled out on the field, I believe they will make that decision to sit him. If it's one or maybe a couple weeks, to kind of regain his strength and to alleviate some of that pain and pressure.
Yeah, I mean, hell, they leave it up to us, man. We are usually going out there to play. If you leave it up to the player, most of us are going to go out there and play. When you look at the offense, how much would you chalk up to lack of playing time in the preseason, rust coming in early? Like how much of that do you think factors into what we saw last night?
100%. That's why whenever I talk to a lot of people about these particular games, I don't really hold any weight until after week 4, going into week 5, because to me, taking away the preseason, and I don't care if you're practicing together with these other teams or whatever, being in a game situation and that game adrenaline is a whole lot different than just sitting there going to practice. Like, you know how it is when we practice against each other after about 3 or 4 times. It's like, man, let's just get through these reps. When are the twos up? You know what I mean? Yeah. It's like, okay, what's special teams?
Hold on, I was in that special teams practice. Hold on.
I was at the movies at that time. My bad.
Yeah. You're speaking from a starter standpoint. Yes.
But you know what? It's not.
But I know what you're saying, though. Yes, I understand what you're saying. Yes.
And we're starting to see. We're going to start to see teams that we expected to be up in the upper echelon to look as if they haven't practiced or unorganized at times because they haven't played in game situations. And I think, it's a situation where I think, Rodgers going to have to come up with something, or these owners, because you're taking away from these guys' ability to be ready for the beginning of the season. I know you want to add games and make more money in that situation, but there are guys on the street that weren't able to display their talents in game situations enough to be able to help these teams, and we're just sitting there watching lackluster football for the first couple of weeks.
Yeah, and I think it hurts we were actually talking about that right before you got on. I think as a fan, it sucks to get excited for the NFL season, and then all of a sudden you start watching it and you're like, wait a minute. This is not the NFL yet. We get a precious few games, and them spending a month just warming up, getting good is just not the way it used to be. So I know I sound like an old guy.
When the NBA starts, it's like guys are working themselves in shape in the beginning of the season, and for me, it's like for NFL, it's like guys are. It's almost like coaches and players are working themselves into season mode to see what they can and cannot call or what they should call in certain situations. And I think that's what we're going to see early part of the season.
All right, Donovan. Well, we are excited to have you back once again, and at least it was a win. Look, it wasn't pretty, but it was a win. So 1-0, and look forward to talking to you after the Chiefs game.
Yeah, man, bring a little more energy next week.
Yeah,
right?
Try to match our energy.
Oh! I need to bring the energy. Okay, I got it. Sounds good. Look forward to talking to you guys next week.
All right,
bro.